39 passing attempts a game, second highest in the league behind Dak. Last week he threw the ball 52 times, while the Bears only ran 28 times. Here's Caleb on his usage rate.
I got to throw the ball 50 times. I got to throw the ball 50 times. But if we're in a flow and we're running the ball, we're getting 4 yards a pop on the play and things like that. Let's keep handing the ball off to our running backs and let them be special. So like I said, whatever. Like I said on Sunday after the game, whatever it takes to win the game.
Okay. Are the Bears asking Caleb to do too much?
Well, right now it's out of necessity. I mean, Bruce swore to me all last year DeAndre Swift was awesome, and I believed him.
He looked good.
And now, and if people have been watching, DeAndre Swift has run the ball 37 times this year. Anyone want to guess how many yards he has on 37 carries? The answer is 68. Wow. And one of those carries went for 20. So the other 36 carries have gone for 48 yards.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that
can't be a DeAndre Swift problem.
Right. Well, I agree.
Right.
I agree. It's an offensive line design problem or whatever, but I'm not allowed to bring up the offensive line because then I'm making excuses for Caleb. I'll make the excuse for DeAndre Swift instead. The offensive line's a problem. And the 31st in rushing, the 31st in yards per attempt. They have one rushing touchdown. So he's had no choice. Can I say one other thing about this quote? Caleb keeps saying all the right things. If we're like, hey, make the anti-Caleb Williams dossier, it's like, well, he texted the punter something that we didn't like.
That was kind of a joke.
And I didn't love his body language in a Hard Knocks meeting with Eberflus. And I thought the look on his face with CJ was questionable. But we have no, and I would say, Your Honor, I ask all that evidence to be dismissed. It's all nonsense. To be like, okay, there's no, whenever he's speaking, he says exactly what you would hope a mature franchise quarterback would say.
That's right.
And I think that's an example of it. But yes, of course they're asking him to do too much because once again, DeAndre Swift is averaging 1.8 yards per carry.
DeAndre Swift is looking at Zeke and Rico Dowdle saying, man, they got some holes. Boy, I wish I was behind that line.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
I agree with Nick. I mean, it's of course you don't want him throwing 50 times. You don't want him throwing 37 times, which I think he did in game 2. But they're trying to win games.
Yeah.
They're not just it's not just developing Caleb, they're trying to win, and they're saying our best weapons are our receivers. And we got a talented quarterback, as young as he is. And we'll live with his mistakes because that's what, and we think he'll do some great things in the meantime too. So, yeah, I don't think this is the plan, but it's just what they got to do right now.
Yeah, to your point, it's unfortunate that they can't run the ball because this was a really good running team last year, and you just assumed, oh, Caleb's going into a great situation, but he threw 29 times week 1. 37, as you mentioned, week 2, 52 last week. I mean, there's no way within this offense that he's going to not have to throw the ball if they can't run the ball.
Can I ask something silly? I know it's like the idea is like maybe this is kind of hurting his development because.
Could it be good for his development?
Yeah, it's just like, man, you're going to get a lot here. We might not win, but you're going to throw the ball. He's literally throwing it more than everybody except Dak.
So what I would love to see them do is implement more 2 tight end set and allow him to throw to the tight ends. I know you got great talent at receiver, but anytime you start to push the ball down and you know he's kind of struggling with that right now, the closer in proximity, the bigger targets are easier. Look at his comp. Jaden Daniels, like Zach Ertz and McLaurin, they have the same amount of catches, almost the same amount of targets, like almost same amount of yards. It's because they understand, look, the best friend of a quarterback as far as throwing the ball when you first get into the National Football League, your biggest target, and that's typically your receiver. Cole Kmet, tight end, Gerald Everett, Cole Kmet, they should implement them in their passing game a little bit more.
No doubt.
Great. Shane Waldron on trying to turn the season around. Exactly. A lot of revenge games.
Yeah, maybe a little more vocal. I'm usually a lead by example kind of guy, but I think I can pick my spots, say some more things. So find those spots this week. We got a lot of young guys that we're counting on. I haven't really been here before, so have them hear my voice a little bit might be beneficial for them. I don't know.
Have you already started with that?
Not yet.
Bad vibes. Is Burrow the #1 reason for the slow start?
Oh, no, I don't think he's number 1, 2, or 3. Like, the simplest reason for the slow start is the defense has been really bad when the offense has been good. There's more, and we can show you those numbers. Even though the offense was terrible in week 1, the offense for the year, good, really good is too strong, but above average in everything, and pretty damn good in a few things, while the defense is below average and really bad in, almost everything. I think the more esoteric answer is, for good or for bad, the Bengals thus far this season have played to the exact level of their opponent. And when you do that, every game's going to be in the balance. When you play to the level of the Patriots and you have, a touchdown to Gesicki that's kind of a bad overturn. They overturned it when they probably shouldn't have.
You've been on Twitter too much. No, that was not a catch. Sorry.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right. And then on the very next play, you fumble going into the end zone. Now you lose that game. Then you play to the level of the Chiefs, and you have the game in hand, and then you commit pass interference, and the guy hits a field goal, you lose that game. Then you play to the level of Washington, and actually, what was lost kind of in the mayhem of that amazing Jaden Daniels play was that was one of the best defensive reps of the season for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The guy got home. It was tight coverage. It put them in position to get the ball and win the game, and it was just they get paid too.
Yep.
Amazing throw, amazing catch. But you're playing exactly to the level of who you're playing. So every game has come down to 1 or 2 plays, and even on the wrong side of it, all 3 times. So is it the leader's responsibility to make sure they have a more consistent level? Maybe, but that's what's happened to the Bengals.
I agree mostly with you. The defense is the number 1 problem. All right, they're bottom 10 in points allowed. They're allowing almost 27 points a game. All right, they're bottom 10 against the rush. All right, and so the defense has been the number 1 problem. What I would put on Burrow, because the question was the 0-3 start, last 2 losses, no, not on him. He played well, and they scored every possession against Washington except the missed field goal, which was a 48-yarder, so McPherson could have made that. The first loss, you can put that on him because it was the Patriots, and you scored 10 points.
Scored 10 points.
And he threw for what, 160, 164 yards, no TDs. I'll put that on him. I get Chase wasn't himself, Jamar Chase yet, but still, I could put that on him. But I would put the defense, I think Zach Taylor, I talked about Burrow's role in the 0-3 starts this week, but Zach Taylor has to have a part of that as well. As far as him being more, talkative with his team, I like that. I think his Joe Cool personality can definitely work. Games against the Chiefs when, you don't get too rattled when it's a tight game and you're cool, that's great. But there's a time, Brady obviously was cool under pressure, but there was times when you saw him jumping on his teammates. I loved when Burrow, what he did with Chase, Jamar against the Chiefs when Jamar got the 15-yard. Like, he pushed him away, he grabbed him, and they're good friends, so it wasn't like showing him up. They need some of that. He's the leader. They all look up to him. So I do think that's a step in the right direction for him.
You seen any Panthers media on social media? Little Panthers clips? Andy Dalton in the locker room? Good vibes. Just saying. You don't.
Upset alert? This is gonna be an upset alert.
Who wants it more? Andy Dalton revenge or Bengals to go?
I think the Bengals want it really bad.
You don't know Andy Dalton.
Okay.
Fire burns in the heart as well. Back a lesson from his old team. Here he is sharing some wisdom from Mike McCarthy from his Packers tenure. Take a listen.
I go back to this quote a lot, but Mike McCarthy said our biggest struggle is going to be handling success back in 2006 in Green Bay. And there's a lot to that. I think, when it's easier when you kind of get kicked in the teeth to kind of come together. It's us against the world. It's us against the big bad media who's saying how bad we are. We can kind of come together. But can you still come together and have the same approach when everybody's kind of starting to sing your praises a little bit? I think that's the mark of a great team, is can you handle the success part with the same focus, the same mentality, the same mindset, the same energy when you're starting to get on a little bit of a roll.
Okay, Brew, your reaction.
Both of you guys know I'm in on the Jets.
Yeah, you're a Jets
right?
guy.
I got them winning the division, making the